what did happen to the last 10? I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Always in Stitches Stitch Along that we're doing. It's a third Saturday class that meets in the store, and some of you weren't able to join that class because you're too far away or the class was sold out. So this is a continuing episode. We're working with this Sister Sampler Quilts book right here. You need to have the book in order to play along with this. If you don't have the book, this isn't going to help you. Well, it might, but really the information you need about sizing and all that is in here. We've already had one video on this, and we did the first blocks, and so those should be like these up here. This top row is my samples of those particular blocks that we're making so far. And these are in the 9.5 inch size. There's also an option in this book to make a 12.5 inch size as well. So I've already made the quilt with 12.5 inch blocks. That one, Peter's going to plug a picture in of it because it's completed and hanging on the wall above the fabric that we used. The William Morris, lovely fabric. Came out really pretty. Now I'm doing it with this particular colorway so you can see in the smaller size so you can get a sense of what's going on. So let's give you some tips and tricks. If you've been working in the book, the best thing I can tell you about this book is chapter 4. This is part of the reason I love this book. Even if you're not playing along with this yet, you might want to have this book. On Saturday when we had the class, there were 50 people in there, and everybody said they loved this particular chapter in the book. It's all tutorials, and she does an outstanding job of explaining how to do half square triangles, how to make flying geese, how to make quarter square triangles. Excellent writing in this book that gives you step by step how to do that. So if you're doing this along with us and you've got any questions at all, go back to chapter 4, which is on page 106, and she can tell you exactly what you need to do to put these blocks together. I've got my my PowerPoint is over here that I did so that it's kind of helping prompt me to remember what to say to you guys. So what helped me make my blocks and make them perfect? One of the questions that came up in our class was, how come my points aren't coming out nice and I don't have my 1/4 inch that I'm supposed to have when I'm done? And how come my pieces don't fit together when I put an outside edge on? Cutting matters. Precise, accurate cutting. Be sure you have a nice sharp rotary cutter, and when you cut, you get on top of your fabric and cut instead of underneath or kind of from the side. You want to get it as accurate as you can, and the way to do that is your templates. We've got several choices on templates to make pieces with, and they are amazing. Because this makes a 9.5 or a 12.5 inch block, which is a pretty standard size in all block quilting, I recommend this block, this particular ruler. And what I like about this is when I do a quarter square triangle, there's a diagonal line right here, or a half square triangle, and I can put that on my line and be sure when I'm trimming and cutting, it comes out correct. The other thing, these have a little QR code right here. You can follow that, and it gives you instructions on how to use this particular ruler. I have Creative Grid rulers in like 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8. I have them in lots of sizes, and I use them all because they're just such a nice ruler. And it can help you square up your block, because every time you put another section together within a block, you want to square it up to the dimensions that they give you. So these are a couple pieces that I really like. The other piece that has become a new one, and Dawn actually did a video on this. You'll have to go to Dawn's YouTube video on this same channel. She shows you these new rulers from Quilt in a Day.
Since I have it on this rotating mat, it makes it a little easier. I'm going to go in those slots. I'm going to cut that one, then I'm going to turn, I'm going to cut that one, and now my dog ears are gone. So in 4 cuts, I have a perfect little 3-inch square. That's a half square triangle.
And this one is an amazing triangle square up ruler. Watch her video on how to use it, because in basically 2 steps, you do what has previously taken 5 or 6 steps, and you get a lot of half square triangles really fast. Love these rulers. These are others that I would recommend. Quilt in a Day 4.5-inch triangle or the 6.5-inch triangle, but specifically for the parts you're making in here, this is a good size to have. Other tools that I find very helpful. Friction pins. These pins are awesome, but I need you to remember and know, if you don't know, let me tell you, what happens is when you use these on certain colors, they will lift the fabric color out of the fabric. So what's so nice about friction pins is when you write with them on whatever you're drawing on, it writes just like a gel pen, but if I put heat on that, it just disappears. Now if I put it below 32 degrees, it'll reappear, which makes it kind of fun for kids. You can tell them it's like a magic pen. But when doing anything quilting, whether I'm making a bag or whether I'm making a quilt, I try to make sure if I have to mark something, I use these pins in areas where they're not going to continue to be seen after the project's made. So friction pins are great for making marks, but you might want to look into something else if you're concerned about it leaving a mark that would show up later. So be careful with the friction pins. Another tool that is just the bomb, if you don't have already, you need to get some of these. These are binder clips. These are great for holding your pieces together, holding when you start doing the binding, anything. I am a big fan of binder clips. I have them in all shapes and sizes and use them constantly when I'm putting my blocks together. The other tool that I really love is this fork pin. This pin allows me to pin on either side when I'm putting a block together, and I have the 2 pieces of the block, and I have one folded this way and one folded this way, and they kind of nest. Then I can put that pin in between those two, and it holds it on either side. Love these Clover Fork pins. These are the 1.5-inch size. There's 35 of them in a package. Another product that I really recommend to help you get accurate piecing and quilting when you're putting your pieces together. And it looks like this. I don't know if we can get a little close-up on it, Peter, so they can see what this looks like. But there's the fork pin right there. It's got a little dip in it. Let me show you in a piece what we're talking about, how these go together. So when I've got 2 pieces of fabric and I'm trying to hold them together, especially if they've already been sewn, I've got one going this way and one going this way, and I'm trying to nest those 2 together. I can put that fork on either side of my piece. Well, let's just take this down. Do it this way. We'll do it this way. I'll fold this over. So when I have these 2 pieces, I want to sew them together, I can put that pin right here like that. See how it's on either side? Now it's on either side of that seam when I get ready to sew, and if I'm sewing this way, it holds those from moving and changing location. So love fork pins. If you haven't used them before, you might want to look into getting some of those fork pins, because they really are a big help when it comes to getting things nice and flat to lay nice and smooth. So you've seen Dawn's, hopefully you've stopped this, watched Dawn's video so you can see how she worked with these tools. Then the other tool that I am like sold out on is this diagonal seam tape. If you've not used this, it's kind of like a washi tape that you can put onto your machine, and it stops me from having to draw a line for my half-star triangles. This is another one I believe we have a video that shows you how to use this diagonal seam tape. It's an incredible product as well. I find it really helpful when putting my blocks together, that it allows me to be sure on my sewing machine I get everything lined up correctly and get my 1/4 inch seams accurate. That's the key, really, when you're making any quilt or any project. Cutting accurately, sewing accurately, be sure you're using the right kind of thread. So we've got a good quality quilting thread, and the stitch length is not too long or too short so that you damage your fabric. And the needle that is in your machine is the machine needle that goes with the machine brand. So if you're using a Janome, you want to buy the Oregon brand. If you're using a European design machine, you're going to want to use a Schmetz brand needle. They do make a difference. The needle companies like to tell you that's not true, but our service rep will tell you different. They really do make a difference. So that's some tips and tricks. Chapter 4 of the book's a huge help. And then just to stay caught up with us, if you are watching this is the second part in this series. So the first one, you should have made these 4 top blocks. These are basic, simple blocks. They're not real complicated. You're going to make a lot of half square triangles. So I'm going to show you other ways to make half square triangles as we go. But this quilt in a day ruler right now is the way to go. I'm loving that method because you can really make them quick. When you choose your fabrics, you want to have a light and a dark. You probably have already got through that process, but try and think light, medium, and dark. I'm playing more with colors with these. The other one I played with pattern quite a bit, so this one is more about color. But I love this. I think this is going to be a really pretty quilt when it's done. You do have more than one setting option, so be thinking about how you want to set your quilt when you put it together. And size is not relevant to that because no matter what size you make, you can set them however you put them together. The next block we'll be doing after these, which should be the ones you had done for this session. These are the ones you'll need for the next session. So we'll have another video come up in April, and these are the blocks we're going to be looking at to see today. Now you can see lots of half square triangles around here, and what I want you to be aware of is when you put this block together, it's real easy to confuse these 4 sides, and what you think is just left and right is not really. There's when you lay it out, be sure you lay it out right, because it's real easy to sew this on the wrong way and have your half square triangles not going in the right direction. So just be aware when you sew that together that you get it done correctly. Or you'll rip it out, but that's okay. If you rip it out, that's just an opportunity to sew it back again and more value for the money of buying that fabric. That's what we want to do with it. So that's it. If you've got more questions, you can always email me, Cappy, C-A-P-I, at alwaysinstitches1.com. That's my email address. I'll be happy to walk through anything you're trying to figure out in this book. But she's did a really good job. This author has done an awesome job of writing a book that really helps us just work through it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next month.